Maybe I try to keep on to talk in English. The problem is that the playing with our values is really capable to make people believe that they are acting really in a moral good manner. But the problem is that the West, as we know it today, was born on a big history of redistribution, and in this history all these values evolved. This means this is the birth mistake of the so-called Western world. Our high values, they were since the beginning exclusive, even if they were meant to be universal, but the reality speaks another language. This is the big problem. And if we are talking about the restitution problem, you can say that from Columbus on to the expedition of the British that has stolen all the Benin statues and things like that, you can say that from the first ship that went out in colonial times, we have stolen art, and on the other hand also human being restings. This means we stole also mummies or dead people or the bodies of people and bring it to our society. And the thing is that you can only understand why today, for example, there are some people like really saying, we have taken these things, but it was on a legal ground. We have stolen these things, but they gave it to us. This is an ignorant point of seeing things, because the whole colonial context has been a context of injustice. So if you try to talk and argue today that it was just legal at the time, it's for me a really sad proof for a kind of self-loving disability to see how it is in reality. In every moment, for example, if I take Germany, in every moment that people in Germany are getting more and more less white society, our politics concerning talking and dealing about colonial times is really hurting more and more people in the society, and this is a big problem for credibility. And if we take the international context, the West, even if they thought we are the, how to say, the crown of the world history, it's over this history. So there are more and more not white, white and black are constructs. I want to just say it for one time, but there are more and more people on this planet who are not white, and we as West try to say them how to be democratic, how to be a moral player, how to be good concerning human rights and things like that. But if you see how we act concerning the colonial politics, the colonial politics concerning how to remember it, it's no, it cannot wonder someone that more and more people start to doubt the credibility of the values that we try to spread. This is a big, big problem. Even the thing that we see now in the television, there are people that are really asking, why did we fail after 20 years, for example, in Afghanistan? This is something that you can only ask yourself if you are really blind of your self-loving behavior and you cannot understand that someone does not like your model. And this is a big problem. Concerning this now, I think the expedition of the British in 1897, this was only possible, this is very important, because the warfare was already industrial. Industrial, why? Because the biggest forced migration in man's history, the Atlantic slave trade, led Europe and the so-called Western world to get industrialized. And only with industrialized warfare, this expedition was possible. Otherwise, it would have not been possible concerning the military force. And they took things. And it's a shame for me that even today, people say, for example, Benin or Berlin, doesn't matter where these artifacts are, because they are common human heritage. If you say this is another proof for the self-loving blindness, because someone who says this has not thought about, for example, our refugee politics. Look at this picture. In the real sense of the word, people, for example, from Benin, are not able to enter the museum to see their forefathers' art because the politics, for example, of the EU does not let them into Europe. So it's like really, can you really believe your own words if you say it doesn't matter Benin or Berlin? You can go to Benin because of the history, because you are a member of the so-called global north. I'm also, and you can go to Benin. But someone from Benin, if he's not someone who gets a special program for a university, or if you get your wife or your man, you don't have legal possibilities to get to the museum and see these things. The thing is also, to end it, what can we do to don't let our credibility get smaller and smaller in the inner societal context, but also in the international context? We have to really start to take a new look on our past, and we have to really try to not only mention the truth, but to try to explain what the truth has to do with today. If we don't do like that, we are really playing with the ability to be a player in the future, because lesser and lesser people in our own society want to be part of this society. They don't give all their force into this society because they think this society is more or less something like not blind concerning your origins. And on the other hand, German or other Western governments, they don't have to wonder why, for example, other states just laugh at us when we say, oh, don't hurt this population group, don't be bad to them, or better be good to your women. If we are not able to do it in the inner societal context, how can we be credible when we try to spread these values in the world?